Hello everyone. So we are going to talk about MCP servers today. Before I start that, let's talk a little bit about tools so that you get a brief idea what I'm going to talk about. Let's suppose you have your AI model. Okay. Your AI model, which is Gemini or OpenAI, cannot do certain tasks for you like sending emails, create files, file uploads, and in order for it to do these things, it needs certain tools. And this is a personal scenario which I'm explaining. Let's suppose you're in an organization and you need your AI model to connect to a specific business service which you have created, which you already have created, and it is a hosted service. So for your AI model to use that service, you need to pass that service as a tool to your AI model. Okay. Now you can do it in two ways. You can either write the code or you can pass it as an MCP server. Okay, writing the code is a bit of an overwork because you already have that service created. You don't want to recreate it. So for for those kind of scenarios, you have MCP servers. Okay, um, where you can just connect to a service and you don't want to write its code, but you want your model to be able to access it. So you can use the concept of MCP servers. You can put a layer of an MCP server on your API endpoint and then pass it to your agent, and your agent will be able to connect to all the service methods or service endpoints which are in your business servers, and also use its data and give you the results which you want. So this is an example where a user is passing a user request this to its AI model. That AI model has an MCP client created. This client connects to the MCP server, and MCP server, you can say it's basically your AI endpoint, or it's a layer above your AI endpoint, which is then performing most of the tasks. Okay, so MCP servers will allow your business organization to use its existing API services to connect to the newly created AI agent which you have. Likewise, you can use one MCP server in many AI agents. Also, you can have one AI agent which uses many MCP servers. So it's a many to many relation. Okay. And through MCP servers, you can definitely reduce hallucinations. You can implement more security. Um, Local first data stays with you, sure. So I think the most important points would be like security and reduced hallucinations over here. So this is a simple diagram. Like these two are simple diagrams which show what happens, like the data flow in an MCP server. Now, what an MCP server provides? So it prompts, everybody knows. MCP server provides prompts which allows your AI model to do its tasks. Okay. It also provides tools which are functions which will be doing your business actions, whichever business action you require. And then there are resources. For example, you have an FAQ document and you want your system or your agent to be able to read those FAQ document and answer question based on that. Then that MCP server provides a feature of resources as well. It provides, you can pass that FAQ document through a resource to an MCP server. Okay. Uh, so this is an example which I've created, which is showing many services which are interacting to an AI model. This brain is actually, you can say it's an AI agent, and this is connecting to many MCP servers. Now, this is the layered architecture of the MCP server. On the top, you have your host app or your AI agent. Then there's the transport layer. Then from that, there's a server logic and routing part. This is the part where you will be implementing your security checks, CORS policies, and everything. The layer 3 actually has your prompts, resources, and tools. Okay. And beneath this would be something which your tools are interacting with. Okay. Your tools or your methods would be interacting with something, right? So that is the fourth layer. This fourth layer is I was talking about. This is the existing business applications which you have. You have an MCP layer on top of this, which is this. Okay. Then this is basically security and everything, and this is transport. Okay. So this is a diagram where you have your AI model, and it is connecting to three services. One is a Google service, one is Microsoft, and one is an AWS service. Now let's suppose you need something to update in the Microsoft service. You perform some sort of deployment. So you don't have to deploy your AI model or redeploy it. Okay. You just can make one change to the Microsoft service, and it is going to reflect. So this is kind of like the existing microservices architecture, which which we all have worked upon. So this represents that. Now this is a high level system diagram, okay, wherein you just want, it's kind of a plug and play system with MCP, where you just want to pass tools and you just want your agent to decide which tool it can um, invoke and which tool it can work with. Then there's a low level of MCP server or the advanced level of MCP server. Now, think about this. Your business is going to have its own set of products. For a pharmaceutical company, those products would be medicine. For a printing company, those products would be books. Likewise, for some other company, it would be some other sort of products, which would be its own names. Now, when you are writing your tools, these kinds of things get extremely tricky about if your agent is able to identify that the prompt passed to it has one of your products mentioned or has a different kind of thing mentioned, which is which is specific to your organization. In these kind of scenarios, you need a more minute, or what should I say, more custom handling of how your tool is executed, which tool is selected. Then you need better control in calling the tool. So these kinds of things are what a low level MCP server provides, where mostly you have to write custom explanation, which is actually when you are dealing with an advanced level of agentic architecture. So now I know what you will say, that Vashish, there are other libraries also which provide this, um, but what happens is, if you are using a library with your AI agent, you need to write the entire code and pass it through a file you need to import it in your file, and then you need to pass it into your agent constructor. Okay. Now let's suppose you want to reuse that exact same file. That same file has to be imported again into the other agent, which is kind of a tighter coupling. In order to avoid it, you can create an MCP server. It is going to give you the same or better level of control actually, and it is going to be loosely coupled. That MCP server could be used in other agent as well, and it won't create a problem. So this is the advantage why we should use MCP servers rather than simple tools. Okay. um, like passing tools in the constructor is not that great of an idea when compared to creating an MCP layer over your existing uh, API system and then passing it to your agent by connecting it through HTTP parameters. So that actually allows a better level of control. Obviously, there's a transport level or transport layer involved. So there is some added complexity, but in the long run, for example, agents are mostly created in Python. I know that some people will say that no, there are libraries in C Sharp and other languages as well. It's true, there are libraries in other languages, but Python has much wider level of libraries which actually enable your agent to perform better. And some of these libraries are not replaceable in other languages. So mostly I prefer like creating agents in Python only. And let's suppose your most of the API endpoints or services are written in languages which compile, okay, prefer an object-oriented loop like .NET Java. So those you can still create your API application like that, and you can attach a layer of MCP over it, like performing API calls through MCP servers, defining methods in them, and then passing that MCP endpoint in your tool or in your agent. So I would keep this video short. This is not a coding video, it's just a video to explain how MCP servers are better and should be used. Next video, we will try to bring some more things about MCPs and try to cover more topic. So thank you. That's all for now. If in case you want us to discuss something else, you can write it in comments. And if you want to stay tuned, you can subscribe as well. Thank you.